Your channel. Yep, my channel. Hey, bet. Yes, hello there, chat. Sorry about this one. Until last stream, my internet went out for a whole minute in the middle of my narration. So I am sorry if yeah, my internet went out essentially. I don't know why it went out. It was fine, and that was just it just died. Damn, the story was too good. I'm telling you, the story was so good. My internet said, "Nah, fam, you can't narrate the rest of the story." Alright, let me try to see if I can finish it, because I do want to finish the story, because it is a pretty cool story. Alright, so, we'll be picking up where we left off, at after the girl got scolded by her manager. Okay. Okay. So it's not uncommon going down the aisles that things will be in the wrong place or flipped around or whatever. And this is except for one part of the store. We don't really have a toy section, but we have an aisle of dolls. All kind of dolls, from Raggedy Ann dolls to Barbie dolls. This is the only part of the store Rob demands stays perfect. Every doll facing forward, lined perfectly with not a single hair on the head in the wrong place. Last Wednesday we had maybe 10 customers all day, which is actually pretty busy for a weekend. With the harsh fluorescent lighting on the high ceiling, the same 3 radio pop songs played over the loudspeaker all day while staring at the identical aisles over and over for 8 hours. This trait can drive a man to what can only be described as hypnotic madness. So when I got to the doll aisle, I gave it a lazy once over and continued on. A couple of minutes later, I was on the brink of dissociation in the canned soup aisle. I was shook out of my haze when I heard my name being screamed out as if they had just discovered me laying dead on the floor. It was Rob. It seemed that in my half-asleep march, I didn't notice one of the dolls had fallen on its side on the shelf. It shouldn't have been sitting up like the others. When Rob pointed this out to me, he gave me a look that made my blood run cold. His eyes looked like a hungry panther staring down a wounded deer. Do you want to tell me what the fuck you think you're doing? Rob said, never breaking eye contact. Oh, sorry, I must have missed that. Let me fix it, I said, shakily, trying to get out of the situation as fast as possible. I quickly reached over and tried to prop the knocked over doll when Rob put his massive hand on my chest to stop me and push me back. Do you know that some of these dolls were made before you were born? And you come here and disrespect them like this? Rob said, his face getting redder with every word. Look, I'm sorry, I genuinely didn't see that, but you don't have to shout. It's not that big of a deal. The rest of the aisle looks perfect. As I tried my best to calm him down. He looked at me for what felt like 30 minutes with a cold stare, as if he was going to wrap his massive hands around my throat at any second. Then, as if a flip switch, his mood completely changed. Ha! No worries, pal. He gave me a pat on the shoulder that I think was meant to be friendly, but it just hard enough to be menacing. Just make sure to keep an eye out in future. Keep up the good work. He looked above me robotically and walked away without saying another word. I was left frozen on the aisle, utterly perplexed. To what the hell just happened? I've worked customer service long enough to get used to being yelled at. I think anyone who has worked in any form of customer service has had angry customers yell and swear at them. And over time, you just learn to get over it and just laugh it off most of the time. But the way Rob looked at me when he was yelling, to give you a mental picture, Rob is a huge man. He's about 6'7", give or take 300 pounds. Having him yell in my face was like a gorilla preparing for a brutal attack. I stood in the aisle motionless for what felt like hours, but couldn't have been more than just a few seconds when one of the cashiers, Holly, walked up to check if I was alright. Is he fucking crazy? She asked with a sympathetic yet angry tone. It's okay. I'm fine. I think he's just on edge because a few people have quit these last weeks, I said, as if trying to convince myself that this interaction was somewhat how normal. Yeah, I wonder, Holly added, smiling. Holly always had a way to make me feel better. She had blonde hair, green eyes, and looked straight out of a high fashion magazine. After a little chat, I didn't see Rob on the floor for the night, but I saw him in his office when I was walking to my locker in the break room after finishing up. He was mumbling to himself something I couldn't quite make out, but it just looked like he was angry. Not angry at me or anything, but angry with himself. Holly was in the break room grabbing her stuff right next to Rob's office. I wanted to tell him off for saying something like that. Never put your hands on me or anything, or I'll kick your fucking ass. Yeah. But who was I kidding? With one hand, he could fling me across room like one of his precious dolls. Besides, I needed the job to save up for school, so I don't have to come back to this shitty store ever again. So with gritted teeth, I said, "Good night. Good night, Rob." He turned as if snapped off a trance and said, "Good night, buddy. See you tomorrow." I walked with my head swiveling back to my car. Part 2. Sometimes I give Tony a ride to and from work, mostly because he's usually too high to drive, but I also like his company. He's funny and gives almost no shits about the job or where he's going in a refreshing sort of way. Why should I stress out if he isn't? I already almost got your ass kicked by Rob last night, he said once he settled into the passenger seat of my car. Yeah, it was the dolls, I replied with a sigh. Freaky ass dolls, man, Tony added as he was fiddling with my car radio trying to get his Bluetooth to work. When we pulled up to the store, the parking lot was empty except for Rob and Holly's car. After we parked and started walking up to the store, I noticed Holly is still sitting in her car, hand hanging out the window, holding a still burning cigarette as she stares off into space, not even acknowledging Tony and I as we walked past. Once we're inside and clocked in, Rob is sitting at the desk in the same position as if he'd been there all night without moving a muscle. I think he might apologize for last night, but to be honest, I don't want him to. I've always felt awkward about apologies for some reason. I'd much prefer if we just move on like nothing happened. Walking out onto the floor, I crossed paths with Holly, getting a better look at her. It's clear she had been crying from her puffy cheeks, and her normally beautiful green eyes had a hint of red and exhaustion, as if she hadn't slept in days. Derek, good morning, Chris, the assistant manager, said as he appeared out of thin air, scaring me into cardiac arrest. Holy shit, man! Gotta put a bell on you or something, I said, catching my breath. It's 10 a.m., Derek. That means the store is open and we use only professional language on the floor. He responded as if there was literally anyone else in the store at all. Right, sorry, bad habit. I said, hoping he would just tell me what to do and leave as fast as possible. Daniel called in sick again this morning. We only have one cashier. I'm gonna get Tony to replace him on cash with Holly. So I'm gonna need you to do the back stock inventory on your own today, Chris said, tapping his pen on his clipboard. I felt a sudden rush of dread, partly because I hated doing inventory, but mostly because I wanted to talk with Holly. Maybe figure out what was bothering her. Do you really want Tony handling the cash unattended? I asked, with a raised eyebrow. Chris thought for a moment. Good point. You're in cash. Tony can handle backstock. Sometimes it pays to have a degenerate friend. When I got to the register, it took about 20 or so minutes before Holly reappeared from the back. It looked like she'd been crying even more now. Maybe that's why she took so long to come out. We sat in awkward silence for what felt like about 4 hours, but couldn't have been longer than 5 minutes. When Chris, ever the most vigilant and compassionate soul, came by and barely looked at either of us in the eye, he explained what tasks around the registers he wanted us to complete. Once he left, I finally mustered up the courage to ask Holly what was wrong. It was just a rough night, she began. When I got home, She was interrupted by the slam of a large box of industrial garbage bags hitting the counter in front of me. What was standing at my counter was a lanky white man in a black trench coat and large leather boots that added about half an inch to his already immense height. Seems in my anxious desire to spark conversation with Holly, I had completely missed the lamppost-sized, hollow-looking figure walk in. Find everything okay today? I began the first part of the script I had read what seemed like a million times, not even looking at him. He said nothing. When I was done ringing through his garbage bags, I went to tell him his total. I finally met his eyes. I felt a jolt of fear shoot through me like a stray bullet. He was looking directly into my eyes, a look of fury and hatred, as if he just took extreme offense to the fact that I just existed in front of him. That'll be 1955, please, I said, trying not to show my ever-growing fear. He handed me a crumpled-up $20 bill, and as I was opening the register to get him his change, I could feel him staring at me like someone was poking me in the back of the head with a red-hot iron. I handed him his change, and he only broke his death throe as he began to walk away. As I watched him leave, a wave of relief and adrenaline washed over me, like I'd narrowly escaped getting hit by a car. I snapped back into the reality of my conversation as I was having with Holly, but when I turned to face her again, she was gone, leaving her cash register vacant. Did the weird guy freak her out too? As soon as a question popped in my brain, Tony came around the corner, stomping towards me. That weird tall guy just fucked up the entire bathroom, he shouted as if I had something to do with it. What do you mean? I replied. Come, look, Tony said, waving me over. As we walked into the bathroom, I felt my heart sink into my shoes. Written into the bathroom mirror in black marker with text so big you could barely see your own reflection were the words, "I'm not done." Letters were scribbled in such a way that it made clear how intensely he had been writing the same line, would have markings over as if he wrote it 100 times in the same spot. That's not all, Tony said after a long shocked silence. He then opened the stall door and revealed, also written all over the walls, floor, and even the toilet, "I am not done, I am not done, I am not done." Over and over again, for what looked like 1,000,000 times. I had no idea what to think. I've seen vandalism, dicks drawn on walls, crude messages, but nothing ever remotely like this. It's as if someone had a psychotic break and just wrote it all out in an attempt to release whatever beast lay dormant inside of them. After leaving the bathroom and getting back to my register, I barely even noticed Holly was back. Chris was yelling at me for leaving the register unattended, but I could barely hear him over the sound of my heart beating in my chest, as my mind raced for a rational explanation. My mind only began to focus when I heard the news bulletin on the radio at the customer service desk. They found a body. And that is the story. I hope you enjoyed the narration. I have no idea what that was, but yeah. That is the official story. Yeah, I do like doing these narrations every once in a while. They're fun. And yeah. Do a backflip? Nah. I don't want to break my neck, you see, so I'm good. I'm not like a backflip person, so ask someone else, not me. Yes, me tries to I'ma do a backflip. Neck breaks. Well, I got something to tell, sure. Yes, thank you for the high rating, Erica. 11 out of 10 narration. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for... Thank you. That makes me feel like I did a good job on the narration. As someone who's likely dyslexic, it's hard for me to read like a lot of words because sometimes like I mix up words for other words, so I'm always prone to making mistakes when it comes to narration. And I'm pretty sure most narrators have the same thing, but like the thing about live narration versus like video narration is most of the like bloopers and or mistakes are cut out and like it's just one constantly flowing story because like they re-record the lines until like it's perfect. But for me, I tend to, you know, try to do it in one shot, so. I ain't gonna talk about that. I'm good. I am staying away from that topic. We do not mention the orange man here. He stays far away. Yeah. Yeah, we leave that out of chat. Oh boy. Man, can somebody shut Hu Tao up? The reason why I stopped playing her is she's annoying. I mean, honestly, I can't hear what she's saying, so, I mean. Yeah, let's head up and, yeah, I think I'm gonna end stream here, but thank you all so much for watching the stream. Thank you all for love and support, I really do appreciate it, you know. Yeah, without further ado, let's end stream in typical fashion as we do. So, are you ready for the end of tonight's live stream? Because I know I am, and I hope you are as well. You ready, Eddie, Eddie? Okay, alright, bet. Bet. We hope you enjoyed your stay. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. We hope you enjoyed your stay. Outside the sun is shining. It seems heaven ain't far away. It's good to have you with us, even if it's just for the day. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been here, huh? But yeah, anyway. Enjoy the rest of your night and or day, wherever you are in the world. Take care, and until next time, I will see you in the next live stream. Okay, good night everyone, good night Kirito, good night Shadow, Erica, and anyone else watching the stream now and or after the fact. I hope you're enjoying the stream, and I hope you have an amazing night. Okay, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye! Johnny! I'm ready to relax.